Hello everyone, I have another video for you today. This one is a single long story. I hope you enjoy. Here is the title of the story. I found out my best friend had been lying to me for years, and it broke my heart. I've been staring at the screen for what feels like hours now. The words don't come. Not because I don't know what to say, but because I'm still processing what happened. What I just discovered. I don't think I've ever felt this betrayed in my life. It started like any normal day. My best friend, Mike, and I had been close for as long as I could remember. We grew up together, went to the same high school, shared the same group of friends. You know the kind of friendship where you can say anything and everything? The one where you're more like brothers than anything else? That was Mike and me. At least, that's what I thought. Mike had always been the life of the party. Charming, outgoing, the kind of guy who could talk his way out of anything and into anything. If I'm being honest, I kind of envied him. He was everything I wasn't: confident, bold, and fearless. He had this magnetic energy about him that drew people in, and I was more the quiet, reliable type. It worked though. We balanced each other out perfectly, but the cracks started to show about a year ago. Nothing huge, just little things at first. I noticed he'd cancel plans more often than usual, would make excuses when it came to hanging out. But it didn't click. I convinced myself that maybe he was just busy, stressed out with work, or whatever else life throws at you. Then came the text message. It was late, about 11 p.m., and I had just gotten home from work. I was half asleep when my phone buzzed. It was Mike. At first, I figured he was just drunk or needed to vent about something stupid. He did that sometimes. But when I opened it, the message was different. It read, "I need to tell you something, and it's important. Can you meet me tomorrow?" Now, Mike wasn't the type to beat around the bush. If something was up, he'd tell me straight away. So, I knew this was serious. I told him I'd be there, no questions asked. The next day, we met at the usual spot, a little diner we used to frequent in high school. It's quiet, cozy, and familiar. We sat in a booth, and Mike looked different. He looked off. Not his usual confident self. There was this weight on his shoulders that I hadn't seen before. We ordered our food, but neither of us really touched it. We both just sat there, awkwardly staring at the table. Finally, Mike spoke up, his voice quieter than I'd ever heard it. "Listen, I don't know how to say this," he started. His words were stumbling, as if he was trying to work through some kind of internal battle. "There's something I've been hiding from you, something I should have told you a long time ago." I sat back, my stomach dropping. I wasn't sure what he meant, but I could feel the tension in the air. The weight of whatever it was had already begun to sink in. "It's about Sarah," Mike continued. Now, Sarah was Mike's girlfriend. At least, that's what I thought she was. They'd been dating for almost 2 years, and I'd always thought they were happy together. Sure, their relationship had its ups and downs, like any relationship does, but nothing seemed too out of the ordinary. "Sarah?" I said, my voice cracking slightly. "What about her?" He ran his hands through his hair, a nervous habit I'd seen countless times. He looked around the diner, avoiding eye contact. For the first time, he seemed genuinely scared of what was coming next. "I'm not actually dating her," he said. His voice was barely above a whisper, like he was confessing to some unforgivable crime. "I haven't been for a while. But I've been lying to you about it." My mind went blank. I had no idea what he was talking about. "What do you mean?" I asked, though I was starting to get a sinking feeling in my stomach. "About a year ago," Mike said, his voice trembling slightly, "we broke up. But I didn't want you to know. I didn't want to disappoint you. So I've been keeping up the act, acting like everything was fine, like I was still with her. I didn't want you to think I was failing at something, you know? I didn't want you to see me as weak." I sat there in shock, trying to process what he was saying. He wasn't with Sarah? He hadn't been for a whole year? All the times we hung out, all the times he talked about her, all those inside jokes they had, everything was a lie? I felt this sharp pang of betrayal hit me right in the chest. I had trusted him. Mike was my best friend, my brother. And he had been lying to me for an entire year, keeping up a facade for reasons I still didn't understand. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part came next. I've also been seeing someone else, he said, his voice barely audible. I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want to hurt you. I didn't want you to feel like I was replacing her, or like I didn't value our friendship. But I've been with someone else for months now. I'm sorry, man. I didn't know how to come clean. The air in the diner felt thick. I could hardly breathe. My best friend, the guy I'd shared everything with, the guy I'd always gone to for advice, had been lying to me for months. And now, he was confessing it all, like it was some big relief. But all I felt was anger. Anger and confusion. You've been lying to me for months? I asked, my voice rising. For a year? About something this big? Mike looked down, ashamed. Yeah, I know. I messed up, and I don't know how to fix it. I didn't want to lose you. But I think I've already lost you, haven't I? I couldn't answer him. I was too angry, too hurt. I wanted to scream, to throw something, to make him understand just how badly he had broken my trust. But instead I just stood up. I can't believe this, I said, my voice shaking with emotion. You've been lying to me for a year, Mike? And for what? To save your own face? To protect yourself? Do you know how much this hurts? He reached out as if to grab my arm, but I pulled away. I didn't want to touch him. I didn't want to feel anything connected to this man who had just shattered the foundation of our friendship. I never meant to hurt you, he said quietly. I just didn't want to lose you, but it was too late. The damage was done. I walked out of that diner without looking back. I didn't know what to feel. I didn't know what to say to him. I wasn't sure I ever wanted to speak to him again. Maybe that sounds dramatic, but betrayal feels like that. It's not just the lies. It's the fact that someone you trusted, someone you loved like a brother, could do this to you and not even think twice about it. I've been thinking a lot about it these past few weeks. About Mike, about Sarah, about the lies, about the years of friendship that now feel meaningless. It's hard to put into words, but betrayal has a way of tearing everything apart. Every memory, every conversation, everything we shared feels tainted. I can't look at him the same way anymore. It's like the whole image of Mike has been shattered, and now I'm just left with the broken pieces. It's been a few weeks since that conversation, and honestly, I don't know what to do. I've thought about cutting him out of my life completely, but part of me still wants to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't know if that's foolish or if I'm just afraid of losing someone who's been such a huge part of my life. But right now I'm lost. I'm hurt. And I don't know how to fix it. I've spent a lot of time alone these past few weeks. I've been thinking about everything. About Mike, about Sarah, about all the times I blindly trusted him, thinking he had my back. But the more I think about it, the more I realize that I was fooling myself. How could I have missed all the signs? The little things that didn't add up. I kept telling myself it was just him being Mike, being the guy who was always busy or always had something going on. But the truth is, he wasn't the person I thought he was. He wasn't the guy who would have my back no matter what. He was someone who kept secrets, who played games with people's emotions, and who thought he could just get away with it. The problem, though, isn't just about the lies. It's about the bigger picture. Mike wasn't just lying to me. He was lying to everyone around him, including himself. He had this image of himself as this perfect guy who had it all together. And maybe, for a while, he convinced himself that he did. But the more I think about it, the more I realize he was hiding from something. Hiding from the truth. Hiding from the reality of who he really was, and that scares me. It scares me because I think, deep down, Mike is someone who doesn't even know who he is anymore. The person I thought I knew isn't the person I see now. He's lost. He's running from something. But the question is, what is he running from? Maybe I'll never get those answers. Maybe I'll never get to understand why he did what he did. But it doesn't change the fact that I feel betrayed. That feeling hasn't gone away. No matter how much I try to distract myself, it's always there, gnawing at me. I've tried talking to other people about it. My brother, some old friends. But no one really gets it. They all tell me the same thing. He's your best friend. You can work this out. You've known him forever. You owe it to yourself to try. But it's not that simple. I don't think they understand how deep this cut is. They haven't been in my shoes. They don't know what it feels like to have someone you trust more than anyone else lie to your face, pretend everything is fine when everything is falling apart. It's not something you just get over, but the more I think about it, the more I realize I can't stay stuck in this place. I can't let this betrayal define me. I can't let it control my life. As much as it hurts, I have to move forward. I have to figure out what's next for me. I started going to therapy a few weeks ago. I thought it would be stupid at first. I didn't think talking to someone would make a difference. But it has. It's helped me process the emotions I've been bottling up for so long. I've learned that it's okay to be angry. It's okay to be hurt. But most importantly, I've learned that I don't need to carry this burden on my own. I have people who care about me. I have people who will support me through this, even if Mike won't. A part of me still wants to reach out to him. I still want to talk to him, hear his side of the story, get some closure. But another part of me knows that it might just make things worse. I've already heard enough. I've already given him too many chances to come clean, and he chose to lie to me. He chose to put on a mask and hide behind it. And I don't think that's something I can ever look past. So, for now, I'm focusing on myself. I'm focusing on rebuilding what's left of my life without him in it. It's not easy. There are days when I miss him, when I wish things could go back to the way they were. But I know that's not possible anymore. What's done is done. I've also been thinking a lot about forgiveness. It's not something I've come to terms with yet. How do you forgive someone who has hurt you this much? How do you move on when everything feels broken? I don't have the answers yet. But I think forgiveness is something that comes with time. It's something I'll have to work through on my own. Maybe someday I'll find a way to forgive him. But right now, I'm not ready. And I don't think I will be for a long time. One thing I've realized is that I don't need to be his friend anymore to be happy. I don't need to keep holding on to something that isn't real. I deserve better than that. I deserve people in my life who are honest, who are genuine, and who won't lie to me just to protect their own image. I deserve people who see me for who I am and appreciate me for that. I've started to reconnect with some of my old friends. The ones who never let me down. It's been nice to remind myself that not everyone is like Mike. Not everyone will lie to you, make you feel like you're the one in the wrong when they're the ones who've messed up. I've been hanging out with them more, talking about things that matter, sharing stories, laughing about old times. It's not the same as it was before, but it's better than sitting in the darkness alone. I know I'll never forget what Mike did to me. That's something I have to live with. But I've learned that I don't need him to be happy. I don't need him to define who I am. I can do that on my own. And that's a lesson I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. So, for now, I'm moving on. I'm closing the door on that chapter of my life and opening a new one. I'm not sure what the future holds, but I know I'm strong enough to face it without Mike in my life. And maybe someday, when I've healed enough, I'll be able to look back on this and understand why it happened. Maybe I'll even be able to forgive him. But right now, I can't think that far ahead. Right now, I just need to focus on rebuilding my life. And who knows? Maybe this is the beginning of something better. That is the end of the story. Honestly, I think this Redditor is overreacting a lot about this situation. I understand that your best friend lied about something for a long time and it's no small potatoes. However, that dude is so sad and lonely that he just wanted to seem strong for the Redditor. I don't agree with what he is doing. I think he should make up with his friend and help him have fun with the new girl he is seeing. I hope you enjoyed the story. There is a link in the description for my Reddit Stories playlist. Go watch them if you like. Have a great day.